I don't hear music.
Welcome everyone to the BSA's Auction Fundraiser Final Day Soiree, coming to you live from the BSA space. My name is Felice Silverman, principal at Silverman Trykowski Associates and supporter of the Boston Society for Architecture.
And I'm David Silverman, also a principal at Silverman Trykowski Associates and member of the BSA Foundation Board of Trustees. We're honored to be here tonight to host the Boston Society for Architecture's second annual auction fundraiser.
While we couldn't celebrate in person this year, we hope that you enjoy the program from the comfort of your own home tonight. We have an exciting lineup for you. You'll hear from some of the BSA staff about the programs they've been working on, some guest appearances from BSA community members, and Courtney Sharp, BSA board member, will tell us about some of the special featured items. We'll also want to start by giving a big thank to our sponsor, M&T Bank, as well as all of the artists who donated their beautiful work to help support this auction fundraiser.
Since this is our final day soiree, bidding will end after this program wraps up at 6. If you've had your eye on something, be sure to check our auction website, bidpal.net/auction. If you're just tuning in and haven't registered yet, there is still time. Head over to the site to get started.
So this year has been challenging for all of us. The COVID-19 pandemic has forced the BSA and many of our community members to address unprecedented challenges. The BSA has heard from many of our members and partners that the uncertainty is daunting. But the BSA remains determined to meet the needs of their members and communities they serve. Since March, staff have worked diligently from their homes. They've pivoted familiar in-person programs to virtual experience and created new programs that give both the public and the architecture profession a place to gather and learn from one another. The BSA is committed to addressing major issues in our profession and society and acting as a convener for important conversations about racial justice, equity, climate change, and the health of our communities in these uncertain times.
Last month, the BSA wrapped up a 12-week series around reducing embodied carbon in the AEC field and recently kicked off a race and architecture series. You'll hear more about these and a number of their initiatives throughout this program, but we want to remind you that none of this is possible without supporters like you. Your donations, whether through bidding in this auction, a multi-year pledge, or a one-time gift, power these programs.
One such initiative is housing. The BSA is proud to be leading the conversations in Boston around housing challenges, from affordable and workforce housing to compact living to accessible dwelling units. Policy Director Jennifer Efron has been working closely with the BSA and the City of Boston's Housing Innovation Design Fellow, Wandy Baskal, on 2 programs aimed at spurring action around Boston. Jenny and Wandy sent in a video to tell us more about their recent work.
Hi, I'm Jenny Efron, the Policy Director at the Boston Society for Architecture. My work focuses on the impacts that design can have on issues of affordable housing, climate change, urban planning, and equity.
And hi, everybody. My name is Wandy Pasquale. I'm the Housing Innovation Design Fellow with both the BSA and the Mayor's Housing Innovation Lab. And as you might have guessed, my work focuses on housing. And over the 2 years in this position, I will be leading the work around the next housing innovation competition.
So our work really focuses on partnerships and bringing people together to work on issues of affordable housing and community making. That all changed, of course, when we went remote, but the work still needs to continue. We had done a housing innovation workshop with MIT and the iLab yearly, and we had already started to plan for this year's workshop. When COVID-19 turned into a global pandemic and in-person workshops were not possible, we had to think really hard about whether people would be up for participating in a day-long housing workshop on their computers. We decided the workshop should still happen though, particularly because we could focus it to further Wandy's work, and issues of affordable housing and inequity have become even more important.
Agreed. And so we asked ourselves what role who might benefit to learn from our own experience. And equity of access and of participation is truly at the heart of this. And we have seen how much support really allows for this effort to develop over time.
Yeah, and so this work has been really fulfilling to work on for us. And we know that, the partners and the volunteers that have stepped forward to help us with this work has been really great. And we're continually grateful to all of our supporters, and especially as we continue to navigate all of these trying times.
Thanks, Jenny and Wandy. The transition to leading workshops virtually has meant rethinking how these programs are delivered, and these 2 immediately rose to the challenge. Right now, as housing has become more important than ever, we need to continue our collective work to find solutions to Boston's housing crisis. The BSA is grateful for all of the supporters who helped make these programs possible.
We have a number of those supporters who would like to share their stories with you tonight and help us to explain the importance of the work that the BSA is doing in the community. So I'll now hand it over to a few of those supporters to hear what the BSA means to them.
Hi, my name is Ted Salukian. I'm a practicing architect in Boston, as well as the chair of the Board of Trustees for the BSA Foundation. As chair, I'm often asked what I love about the BSA and why it is important to our community. We recognize that Boston is a great city with diverse neighborhoods full of passionate people who care about design and architecture, and how we can improve how we work and live together to make a more equitable city. Well, a quick story. At the end of last year, my architecture practice was working for a developer, designing a mixed-use project in
BSA is doing related to climate change is very important to me, whether through educational programs such as their Embodied Carbon series, through their efforts to create a more stringent net zero building code, through their efforts to retrofit the existing building stock in the city of Boston. The BSA is a key player in the region in moving towards a more sustainable and fossil-free future. Please be generous. These efforts are vital. Thank you so much.
The BSA is so grateful for the support of members like Ted, Dan, and Laura. As Dan said, the BSA works as the bond between the community and architects, creating a more just, inclusive society. They are committed to being a convener for important issues facing the greater Boston design community.
For me, one of the most impactful parts of the BSA is the Women in Design Knowledge community. WID is a multifaceted, interdisciplinary community celebrating and encouraging the success of leadership of women in the design community by creating opportunities for networking, professional development, continuing education, mentorship, and community recognition. I'm honored to co-chair the Women in Design Award of Excellence, celebrating and honoring accomplished and inspirational women in our community. Mark your calendars and be sure to join us for the virtual awards ceremony at ABX on December 3rd. It will be free and open to everyone.
The BSA really does have something for everyone. During these unusual times, the BSA has been a great resource to our firm by offering helpful online Zoominars on remote work best practices and our leading thoughtful conversations about racial equity in our profession. A passion of mine is helping young people gain access to design thinking in the built environment so that they might see potential opportunities for their future. My BSA journey started as a board member of Learning by Design that supported many youth programs including Kids Build and Family Design Days. Now as a board member of the BSA Foundation, I continue to support these programs as well as our wonderful community engagement programs that help to make Boston a better city.
Well, it looks like we are about a quarter of the way through our final day soiree, and there's still time to bid. This year's auction features works generously donated by artists and artisans throughout New England and beyond. We are so excited to feature work by local artists, architects, landscape architects, and even some BSA staff members. We want to give a very heartfelt and generous thank you to all of the artists who have donated their work to the auction. Without them, this event would not be possible, so we thank you. To see all of the wonderful pieces up for this auction, please visit the bidding site, bidpal.net/auction. There, you can also find the auction's catalog and more detailed images of each piece.
Our auctioneer, BSA board member Courtney Sharp, stopped by earlier to tell us a little more about some of the featured items. As a reminder, bidding closes after this program, so if something has caught your eye, don't wait.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Courtney Sharp, and I'm a board member of the Boston Society for Architecture. Thank you for tuning in to our second annual BSA auction fundraiser. As David and Felice mentioned, this is a unique event. We are at Boston Common, Financial District, and South End are mounted on this beautiful wood frame. So this 3D print piece has a starting bid of $500. Again, you can find bidding information at bidpal.net/auction. This is a one-of-a-kind piece, and you only have until 6 p.m. before bidding closes. If you have questions, we have BSA staffers manning the chat function, so please feel free to reach out. I will now hand it back over to Felice and David. Boston Common, Financial District, and South End are mounted on this beautiful wood frame. So this 3D print piece has a starting bid of $500. Again, you can find bidding information at bidpal.net/auction. This is a one-of-a-kind piece, and you only have until 6 p.m. before bidding closes. If you have questions, we have BSA staffers manning the chat function, so please feel free to reach out. I will now hand it back over to Felice and David, but don't worry, there's still more featured items coming your way, so stay tuned.
Thanks, Courtney. For those of you thinking you might need a model of Boston in your home, this is your chance. Although it isn't currently open to the public, the City Print exhibition is still in the BSA space and the project is ongoing.
For years, BSA space was home to a beautiful but outdated Boston City model. If you've lived here long enough, you know how much the city has changed in just a few years. In 2019, Make Tank, one of the BSA's 42 knowledge communities, partnered with the BSA to create an updated scale model of the city of Boston that can be continuously updated as city development continues. Make Tank has been gathering makers within the greater Boston AEC community to crowdsource the translation of the city's existing digital models into fabrication-ready data. Each participating maker will be given an existing digital section of the city, and as a community, we will develop a collection of 3D printable digital models. As these digital models are completed, they will be used to produce a new 3D printed physical scale model of the city of Boston printed on-site at BSA Space. City Print is the product of collaborative community making and its ability to inspire and represent an entire region through the creation of a new digitally fabricated model of the city of Boston. The BSA is proud to facilitate this project and hopes that it will aid in the democratization of design within Greater Boston.
So while the BSA's in-person exhibitions are on hold, the staff continues to work on new ways to engage audiences. A great example of that is the BSA's Youth Design Education Program, which is led by Director of Public Programs Polly Carpenter and Design Education Fellow Taylor Johnson. We've asked Polly and Taylor to share a bit of what they've been working on since classes have moved online.
Thanks so much for tuning in to hear what we've been working on with K-12 educational programs at the BSA. I'm Polly Carpenter, an architect and Director of Public Programs.
And I'm Taylor Johnson, Design Education Fellow here at the BSA. So those familiar with our programs will know that we focus on hands-on learning, which requires gathering together with students, children, and families in a collaborative project-based learning environment. With Outways Together this year, we reorganized how we work with and also deliver content to our partner organizations. And although some projects were put on hold, others propelled forward in new ways adapted for the new virtual world.
So we're going to talk about two projects today, both of which are fully supported by our volunteers and our donors, without which they would not happen.
To collaborate with local partner schools and organizations, and to develop more tools and curriculums across the K-12 spectrum to fill the gaps through this challenging time.
And there are huge gaps, and these gaps are really only made up with your support to help us try to fill these gaps. We hope to expand our work this year, and we really are so appreciative of your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Polly and Taylor. We're proud of the quick thinking and flexibility of our youth design education team and are so excited to see what unique and creative programs they continue to develop.
The BSA's youth programming is a cornerstone of our public work. When you support the BSA, you further initiatives like these. Understanding design opens up many doors and allows students to think about their world differently, whether or not they decide to study architecture or engineering. The BSA is grateful to our generous donors who help to sustain many of these ongoing initiatives. But that is not the only way you can be involved with the BSA's work. To learn more about volunteer opportunities as an individual or as a firm, please email bsa@architects.org. The amazing staff is more than happy to work with you to figure out the best fit for you or your team.
The BSA also has 42 diverse knowledge communities open to BSA members and the general public. Knowledge communities give the ability for open forum discussion, formation of new ideas, and professional growth. These groups are still working together throughout the pandemic, holding regular virtual meetings. To learn more about the BSA's knowledge communities and find the right fit for your area of passion within the industry, please visit architects.org/knowledge communities.
We hope you are enjoying yourselves at home so far, and we want to thank you all again for joining us for such a unique event. We still have more BSA staff and volunteers to hear from, but now we'll turn it back to Courtney to talk about our next featured item.
Welcome back. I hope you've been enjoying your time at the BSA's virtual auction fundraiser. It's so great to hear from staff and volunteers about the exceptional work the BSA is doing in our communities. Highlight the brick buildings. This piece is framed and ready to hang. It measures about 29 inches by 22 inches. The starting bid for this item is $340. If you would like to own this collector's piece, please visit bidpal.net/auction. As a reminder, bidding is only open until 6 p.m., so don't forget to enter your bid soon. We also have BSA staff members manning the chat, so if you have any questions about this item or any of the other pieces featured in the silent auction, reach out. They are happy to
Thanks,
help.
Courtney. As a reminder, head over to bidpal.net/auction at any time during this program to bid on Peter's piece or any other item.
2020 has brought about long overdue conversations regarding equity, diversity, and inclusion in the world at large and in the workplace. The BSA's board and staff have been working diligently to develop tools to address systemic racism in the profession and beyond. All of these tools are publicly available on architects.org as they are developed. Please use these resources to create change in your workplace and at home. We are all needed to create true and lasting change. Championed by BSA AIA President Natasha Espada, the BSA has created Race and Architecture, a program series that encourages and provides necessary dialogue around race in our profession. In bringing Black and Brown voices to the foreground, they aim to make this work a priority and empower all architects with the tools to drive meaningful change. Natasha recently sat down to tell us more about the BSA's EDI work.
My name is Natasha Espada, and I'm the founding principal of Studio and Architects and the 2020 president of the Boston Society for Art. So in addition to that Race and Architecture series this summer, the EDI network led the creation of a BSA Equity and Practice Resource Guide based on the AIA Guides for Equitable Practice, and the BSA and staff and the boards are participating in EDI training. So we hope that the BSA's ongoing work on equity, diversity, inclusion, and social justice will encourage and support the architectural profession to be a more diverse and a more inclusive community who truly designs and builds for everyone in an equitable way.
Thanks, Natasha. This work is extremely important as we move forward, creating a more diverse profession with actionable and measurable goals to make our workplace inclusive and equitable. When leaders make issues of EDI a priority, change happens. To learn more about the great work that Natasha and the BSA are doing, please visit architects.org. And now to keep this program moving, we are excited to turn it back over to Courtney Sharp, who will show us our third featured auction item.
Welcome back. Thank you for watching, donating, and bidding. It's been so wonderful and inspiring to hear about all the programs and initiatives that the BSA staff and volunteers have been working on so hard since COVID. Passage has a starting bid of $480. This would look great in your home. If you want to own this beautiful piece of art, please check out our bidding site, bidpal.net/auction. The number for it is 42. Bidding is open until 6 p.m. Remember, we have BSA staff members on hand to answer any questions you may have about this piece or any others in the auction. We still have one more featured auction item to tell you about, so don't go anywhere. I'll now hand it back over to David and Felice. See you
Thanks,
soon.
Courtney. Now we'll turn it over to Ben Peterson, the BSA's Community Design Director. Since Ben joined the BSA in January, he's jumped right in to guide a number of community-focused projects, bringing together community leaders, local organizations, and residents to address issues using thoughtful design. Earlier this week, we sat down with Ben to hear more about what he's been working on.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ben Peterson. I'm the Director of Community and Collaborative Design here at the BSA. I came on board to reinvigorate relationships with community organizations, nonprofit groups, and public audiences, Union Square. I'm really excited for this program to come alive, and I look forward to engaging with many of you to keep it vibrant, joyful, and always evolving. So with that said, to all of our partners and collaborators, cheers to working together. To all of our new friends, I'm looking forward to getting into some more good trouble. Enjoy the rest of the day. Take care.
Thanks, Ben. We're excited to see the long-term positive impact of your work. The importance of sustainable design has been top of mind for many years. The building industry needs to investigate the impacts and opportunities of products while creating strategies for realizing carbon-thoughtful design. In this vein, architects will help create a sustainable future for coming generations. As part of the BSA's ongoing initiative to bring awareness to climate-forward design, they recently hosted Embodied Carbon 101, a 12-part program series designed to give AEC professionals the knowledge they need to incorporate embodied carbon considerations immediately into their work.
We recently invited Jacob Knowles to talk with us about how important the Embodied Carbon series is. Jacob is the Director of Sustainable Design at BR+A, leading the firm's sustainability and consulting team. He was also an EC 101 speaker and presenter and is working on growing mechanical, electrical, and plumbing work within Embodied Carbon.
Hi, I'm Jacob Knowles. I'm the Director of Sustainable Design at BR+A and also the Affiliate Director on the board of the BSA. The leadership, and it sets a new bar. It's pushing us all to broaden our perspective and improve our practices at an exponential rate, which is what we need right now. So the BSA is the best investment I could imagine of our time and effort because it's us.
Well, thank you, Jacob. We couldn't have said it any better ourselves. The BSA creates community coming together to tackle the big issues of the time. The work that is being done through EC 101 and in the BSA's knowledge communities is continuously working to make Boston a better city, not just for us, but for future generations. So if you are moved by any of these amazing programs and stories, please support the work being done by bidding on auction items or simply donate to the BSA at bidpal.net/auction. Your support is greatly appreciated, and the BSA couldn't do any of this work without your help. So let's turn it back over to Courtney Sharp, who will show us our fourth featured auction item.
Hi everyone, thank you for being a part of the BSA's second annual auction fundraiser. We are coming up on the end of 3 full days of to form a deeper connection with places. Through the making of this art, she gradually identifies her place in this new environment. Panapa's piece, Nightscape, is a 10-inch by 20-inch piece made of metal that's ready to be hung. This monochromatic piece has a starting bid of $100, and you can find it listed on bidpal.net/auction. The item number is 7. Again, bidding ends at 6 p.m., so get your bids in soon for this hot piece.
Thank you, Courtney. It's wonderful to see so many architects and landscape architects use their design skills in a creative way. Throughout tonight's event, we encourage you to share how you're involved with the BSA and what the BSA means to you through our social media platforms with @BSAAIA on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And please remember that your donations, whether that's through bidding in this auction, a multi-year pledge, or a one-time gift, powers the impactful programs that you have been hearing about. So on behalf of the BSA boards, volunteers, and staff, thank you so much.
Now, as a reminder, bidding ends promptly at 6 p.m., so if you've been eyeing a painting, a sculpture, or photograph, now is the time to put your bid in. You can set a max bid for yourself, and the bidding platform does the rest. As Courtney mentioned, we have BSA staff members ready to answer questions in the chat functions, so if you need help with signing into your bidding account or placing a competitive bid, just reach out. They're here to help you. And now we'll turn it back to more of our donors who took some time to tell us why the BSA is important to them and what drives them to give.
My name is Matt Kiefer, and I want to take a minute to tell you why I'm an enthusiastic BSA supporter. I'm a land use attorney in Boston, and I was lucky.
Organization and mission to support is because they reach out to the community at large and bring to a group of young people particularly the idea of architecture, the practice of architecture, and the joy of architecture. And I find this to be heartening and positive, and something that I really think creates opportunities where they otherwise would not exist.
Thank you, Matt, Bud, and Diane. It's wonderful to hear personal stories about what the work the BSA does means to you. We're now nearing the end of the evening, and as we want to thank you all for taking time out of your day to hear from the BSA staff and members. The BSA is a community and member-driven organization and counts on the support of viewers like you to help do what we do. We hope that you've had a chance to learn more about the programs and initiatives the BSA has been leading in. We hope that you've had a chance to learn more about the programs and initiatives the BSA has been leading in these last few months, and perhaps you've been inspired to get involved.
The BSA website has information about events, volunteer opportunities, and calls for proposals, so be sure to log on to architects.org for the latest. And now, without further ado, we'll turn it over to Courtney for our last auction item.
Hi everyone, we've made it to the final stretch of our virtual auction. On behalf of the BSA board, staff, and volunteers, I want to thank you for participating in our virtual auction fundraiser. All the money that has been raised tonight will go towards the BSA's mission to build a better Boston. I am proud to show you our final featured auction item. Correille de l'Eau, kiln annealing, and cold working. Hasna has generously donated her sculpture in honor of Professor Jeffrey Stein, AIA, a longtime member of the BSA. Correille de l'Eau has a starting bid of $160. If you are interested in bidding on this piece, please visit bidpal.net/auction and look for item number 15. Bidding will be closing at 6 p.m. tonight, so please be sure to get your bids in before then. I hope you enjoy the rest of the program. Thank you for spending the evening with the BSA.
Thank you again, Courtney. Remember, bidding is almost closed, so get those final bids in. We want to thank you all again for tuning in and spending the evening with us. It was so wonderful to hear about all the great work the BSA is able to accomplish. We also want to thank the BSA staff members who have been working tirelessly behind the scenes to brainstorm, implement, and execute all the events and initiatives that you have been participating in and benefiting from. If you're interested in learning more about the ongoing work of the BSA, please visit architects.org.
The BSA does have a few programs coming up in the next few weeks if you want to get more involved. The next Race and Architecture session will take place on September 22nd, next week at 12 p.m. We are so excited to announce that Ted Landsmark, past BSA president, distinguished professor, and director of the Dukakis Center for Urban and Regional Policy at Northeastern University, will be moderating the discussion. We also have the honor of hearing from the mayor of Cambridge, Sumbul Siddiqui. Throughout her career, Mayor Siddiqui has been a strong advocate for affordable housing and has worked tirelessly to protect families from eviction and displacement.
The BSA is also hosting its annual college fair next Saturday, September 26th at 10 a.m. This year, the BSA Architecture Design College Fair will be held virtually. High school and undergraduate students will have the opportunity to meet with representatives from architecture programs across the country. A virtual marketplace will allow students to interact with representatives from schools. In addition to the college marketplace, the event will feature a series of workshops and panels from design professionals and educators to help students define their path toward an architecture career.
So for more information on both of these events and to see a full calendar of events, visit architects.org/events. So again, thank you to our sponsor, M&T Bank, and thank you to everyone who tuned in tonight, to this evening. We hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you and good night.
Harder building trust from a distance. I think we should rule out commitment for now, 'cause we're falling apart. Get it, believe it. You're just doing that to get even. Hold up, pick up the pieces, just leave them for now. They keep falling apart. Passionate from miles away. Messing with the things you said. Messing up on my old ways. I can't blame you, no. Passionate from miles away. Messing with the things you said. Messing up on my old ways. I can't blame you, no. I can't blame you at all. Listen, seeing you got ritualistic, cleansing my soul of addiction for now, 'cause I'm falling apart. Oh yeah, tension between us just like picket fences. You've got issues that I won't mention for now, 'cause we're falling apart. Passionate from miles away. Messing with the things you said. Messing up on my old ways. I can't blame you, no. Passionate from miles away. Messing with the things you said. Messing up on my